metal. Not just the solar panel. They did solar panels, across the wall from the top to the bottom to provide, alternative electric source for their own headquarters. So I guess they are at the forefront of, say, climate finance.
Wait, sorry. So Sterling Bank's headquarters were in
Victoria,
here in Lagos.
Yeah, in Lagos here. Yes.
Okay.
It's. I mean, what it did was to cover. It's like it's a high-rise building, but so from
that's the one by the marina.
Marina. Yeah. So from the top to the bottom, all of the walls are covered by solar panels. So again, it is what Sterling does right at the time. But again, electric vehicle is good. Is a good idea. I don't. But in a country where people buy second-hand vehicles, I've not seen many second-hand electric vehicles yet. Right. When one Tesla cost, Rotus, how much is that Tesla? 130 million or something?
Yeah, but they are not that price. They are because it's a 2018 Model X, and I checked the 2018 Model X is about $80,000 or $85,000. Even if you use the new parallel market rates of 940, it comes out to about 80 million or it's something million. So they've jumped.
But
a 50 million naira margin.
How much is the import duty? How much is the duty on cars?
Okay, didn't they reduce that duty, or is it still high? I thought they were bringing that down. They're not bringing it down. It's almost half the cost of the car.
If I be coming here now in a country where we're still grappling with electricity, and just to serve the news, Rotus, I don't know if your end of the city or Fisayo's had the 6-hour interruption of the national.
NEPA took lights yesterday while we're on the show now. Did you see my lights went down?
I didn't want to drag Rotus. Well, you brought it out now, so that's it. So yeah, we are.
I don't form. NEPA took lights out on Business Express yesterday.
The question now, the rest of the world may be ready, but is it looking like finding a diamond somewhere in the rough and then bringing a Tesla in here? Not to find it somewhere around a fueling station?
So at some point, they're going to stop buying fuel and fossil fuel cars. At some point, Europe, the US, I don't know where we import, so it's not, but I think, very soon South Africa will join them. Egypt will join them. Kenya, probably Ghana. So it's when it starts hitting the regional areas and we don't, we're the only ones importing fossil fuel cars, that's when we might hit us. I think we'll be left behind. It's going to take a while, but I think we need to just,
So I'd like you to touch on this accusation that the European Union is making, asking for a probe into China's cheap EVs flooding Europe.
So deluded Europe, right? As it were, right? So Europe still somehow thinks that is a very important, player in the global market. Again, if I think about it, I'm not particularly worried again because it's China that they're having this with. There are many ways, both China, right now, if I think about it, the only people that can go head to head with themselves is the US and China, particularly, no other country, come close, and of course, if there are other countries that are coming close, it's other emerging markets. So India, for instance, is growing the economy as it should. I'm looking at countries in the Southeast Asia, right? Indonesia, Vietnam, those countries are coming up. I wish I could put Nigeria in that same space because Nigeria has similar potential to build a big economy like those other countries with a big population, with education of our people. Again, there's a lot of potential in that. At some point, there are projections that Nigeria will be top 10 economies in the world, right? Top 5, I think, at some point in the world, if we get our act together and do the work we need to do, right? So I think we need to recognize that the global, political landscape or economic landscape is changing. So if China says that, China can pull similar weights like the US will pull. If the EU says they want to fight China, based on some economic position, I think the EU is going to lose that battle, irrespective of how hard they try. Right.
So the EU is a bloc, not just a country we are talking about. And you say they're not enough.
Yeah, between the UK. So I saw a video, an interview between a UK journalist, right, and a minister in China talking about whether the EU, whether the UK and China, whether China is a rival or an enemy of the UK. And of course, the guy was like, no, the UK is just a country, right? That China is not a rival to the UK in any metric, like in electric vehicle manufacturing. China, UK is not anywhere close in global exports. UK is not anywhere close, and that's true for for the EU. Think about it. They only use, I was going to say they only use for countries, but the biggest countries in the EU, right, is UK, Germany, maybe France, and that's it, right? If I put all of those things together, they're not as big as Shanghai, right? So what's in there, right? So I'm not particularly worried, I'm not particularly worried. None of them is leading in semiconductor conversation. None of them is the leading exporter of anything, of even vehicles compared to China. None of them are leading exporters of, say, electronics compared to China. If I put all of the experts together, they're not as close, So my point is that China is, and of course the other countries in the EU, they're like streets, If I think about
Rotus, you have to weigh in here. Right? This Fisayo is on a rampage this morning. How can you say that?
Look, I think the EU is very competition sensitive. They're the ones that have been on the necks of big tech, taking Google, Microsoft. In fact, the EU forced. Apple just launched their iPhone 15 this week. They came out with Type-C because of the new EU resolution saying that you must have every charging port must be the same to avoid. So the EU has been on. So Biden's what is it now? Inflation Reduction Act. The CHIPS Act, where there's like how many multi-billions that the Americans want to use to subsidize chip production. The EU complained, even Rishi Sunak in the UK complained. So they're very competition sensitive. Anything that they think is unfair, they'll speak up. So it's in line with their behavior to now tell the US, everybody to go after China and say this is anti-competitive. You're using subsidies to gain unfair market share. So I see where they're coming from. It's their brand.
So we got message.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of messages.
The exports regulation, that one that started this GDPR nonsense as well, forcing you to click OK before you visit any website. That's the only thing they know how to do, really. Outside of that, nothing else.
Fisayo, hold your fire. Couple of messages waiting, but we've got 2 minutes to close this conversation up. And I'd like you to touch on, Rotus has brought in artificial intelligence into the conversation. So I'd like us to close up on that one, where even Elon Musk is warning that the human civilization is at a risk, with the way the race towards adapting it for our daily existence. What do you make of this, Fisayo?
If Elon Musk talks, everyone should listen. When it comes to artificial intelligence, again, there's no limit to where artificial intelligence can go, right? So if Elon Musk is worried about it, I will be worried about it as well. So again, I think that they need to. So what is urgent is that we need to put some rein on it. We can't allow some things to be developed, by human beings, because again, if you lose control of that, it affects everyone, and that's true. So I agree totally with him. And of course, he's also one of the co-founders of OpenAI, right? So again, so he's not talking from a place of ignorance. He knows exactly what this thing's going to generate into.
So this leads us to the messages for our closing of this morning. I've got Peter who sent in a message. Peter sent in a message now saying that Rotus knows that correct guy. I think the world is moving towards the direction in terms of alternative power sources, and I see Nigeria coming on board fully despite the economic challenges that we have. Nigeria, they always adopt and adapt. Yinka Bolu comes for a juggler this morning, Rotus, Omas. You see this, Rotus? He plays too much. Imagine him asking for a payment plan for 130 million naira. Fisayo, second-hand electric vehicle bow. No, we not do. Till when someone will park second-hand Tesla somewhere on VI and one bystander wants to take pictures with it and then gets electrocuted. That's what Yinka Buli throws into the conversation. I've got to mess some more to go now. Your clients, Rotus, your clients are something else, honestly. Babatunde Alao comes up here saying this. Electric vehicle in Nigeria is almost impossible. Only the elites of the elites buy new cars. Few people buy Tokumbo. More people buy Niger used cars. Niger is not a targeted market for electric cars. Power, FX, duty, taxes, economy, roads are waiting to frustrate the move for electric vehicle here, bro. That's from Babatunde Alao. Okay, so let's get Lanre Babalola, your final message here. It's a big laughter. Hi, Fisayo. I thought I was the only one that gets angry when I'm asked to click OK before visiting a website to Lanre Babalola. Hey, look, these messages, you can just read them and laugh over it again and again. But to sum things up, people will ask, like Rotus would say on the streets, waiting Tesla they find for filling station. Well, on that note, we'll close the conversation. Rotus, it's been a great time talking to you guys.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Fisayo. Thanks for all the messages. See you guys Monday.
And it's a wrap on Business Express on Smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning.